Hey, what's up everybody? It's Coach Matt over here at Primal Athlete Training Center, www.primalatc.com. Coming to you today to talk about an issue that a lot of athletes have when they're first starting out with the rotational events, with the rotational shot and the discus, and that is the timing in the back of the circle. Now, what we're talking about with timing, today we want to talk about the right foot. So for a right-handed thrower, it's your right foot, your right side, and what that right side is doing. Now, you've heard me say in videos before that when we rotate, we want to have an active right side. We want to have an active right foot. Now, what does this mean? Well, basically what that means is that your right side is going to be doing a lot of work. The right side is going to be pushing off the ground. Similar to the way that if you were riding a bicycle, you'd be pedaling the bike, pushing out of starting blocks. If you watch a sprinter, they're actively pushing their feet out of those starting blocks. Or a skateboarder, if they're pushing off the ground, they're connecting and they're pushing off the ground to get that skateboard to move. Well, this has to happen in the rotational shot and the discus as well. As you turn out of the back of the circle, you don't want the right foot and the right side to just be passive and sit there. You want to get this right foot active. Now, there's a couple of issues that we need to talk about. The reason it needs to be active, first and foremost, is so that it's not dragging behind. What happens when we drag that right foot, when the right side is inactive and it just sits there, is you start to see the left knee open up. And when the left knee opens up and you get to that point where you have to pick up your right foot, you are wide open. The shot at this point, you've lost all of the separation that you've built up with the initial windup. The shot and the shoulder are really far ahead of that right hip. And you're no longer creating the separation that you're looking for, having the shot behind that right hip. So now the shot is way too far ahead of the right hip. But the other thing it does is it creates over-rotation. Where you're over-rotating and you're not driving down toward the toe board, you're driving more down toward 4 o'clock. We see that a lot when an athlete will turn out, they're really late, their legs get this like ballerina crisscross position where now the right foot's behind the left foot. And they wait so long to turn out of the back of that circle that now they've lost separation, they've over-rotated, and they're going to be going way too far into the left half of that circle. Okay, so that's really the issue. That's why the right foot needs to be active. But even if you're active with your right side, even if you're active with your right foot and you're pushing off that foot, if you push off the foot too late, the same problem is still going to exist. So even if you push with that foot, but you're pushing off the foot too late, the same problem is going to exist. You're going to lose separation and you're going to over-rotate into the left side of that circle. It's really the two biggest problems that come from that. So how do we stop this? How do we make this better? I'm going to show you from two different angles so you really get the idea. But what you want to do is I like to tell my athletes to time it so that when that knee, when your left knee gets back to that 12 o'clock position, facing perfectly out the back of the circle, your right foot should anticipate that and should already be coming off the ground at that point. So what we see, and what I like to see from my athletes on that initial windup, whether it's rotational shot or discus, the initial windup, the knee will come in. And that's going to allow the separation to happen, to get a lot of separation on that initial windup. Then as the foot is moving back toward 12 o'clock, you want to start earlier to actively push off that right side. Here's what it'll look like. You'll be in the rotational position. And as the foot comes back to 12 o'clock, as the knee comes back to 12 o'clock, all of your weight at that point will be shifted. And you can lift this right foot off the ground earlier than you think is possible. You can get this right foot off the ground so much earlier than what you think is necessary. No need to wait for this to happen. As soon as you're at 12 o'clock, you can pick the foot up. Might as well just get active and make it happen. Time it so that as the knee hits 12 o'clock, the right foot's coming off the ground and actively pushing. It's tricky, so you can do a few different drills. My favorite, John Gadina taught me this one. I'm kind of getting my throwers messed up. He came and did a seminar here, which if you have the opportunity, definitely do one. He came and did a seminar here, and he did a drill where you just hold a medicine ball and you actively turn and push off the right foot. So you turn and push off the right foot. It's a great drill that he shows. And it's a great way to show your athletes and have your athletes work on that timing. When the knee hits back at 12 o'clock, you're pushing off the right. 12 o'clock, push. 12 o'clock, push. So you're actively pushing. The other way to think of it, pretend like you have a metal pipe that's in between your legs. Metal pipe connecting your knees together. As your knee turns, you want to push off the foot, push the knee back to 12 o'clock, and push that metal pipe so that the knee is facing at 12 o'clock, and you can pick that foot up and go. So let's show you from a different angle. From a different angle, it looks like this. Back of the circle, we're going to turn in, and as soon as that left knee points back to 12, we're going to anticipate that happening. We're going to push off the right foot in anticipation of the knee getting to 12. So don't start pushing off the right foot when it hits 12. Start pushing with the right foot in anticipation of it being at 12 o'clock. So earlier than you think is possible. Turn in, boom, out. Now you can see both feet are pointing towards 9 o'clock. Both knees are pointing towards 9 o'clock. And you still have separation. You still have that torque built up. You're not overly rotated, getting ready to run down the circle. Now you can just turn that foot and blast into that rotational position and get ready to launch a big throw. So hopefully this explains a little bit about what we're looking for in the back of that circle. As you can see, when you are in the back of the circle, timing is totally necessary. It's something that you have to work on. It's not just getting you started and it's a passive thing, a relaxed thing. It's extremely active. Make sure that you're taking the opportunity to push off that right side, to push through that right foot, and anticipate that knee getting towards 12 o'clock and lifting that foot off the ground earlier so that you're not over-rotating and you're not losing separation out of the back of those throws. We're right in the middle of indoor track season. This is where you might need the most help. I'm going to be putting out videos almost every single day this week to answer questions from the previous 2 weeks. I know we've been slacking a little bit on videos, but I'm going to make up for it with you. So keep the questions coming in. You can email them, matt@primalatc.com, or just leave your question underneath this YouTube video, and I'll get to it in a future video. Hope to hear from you guys soon.